Tonight we embark on a gentle exploration, a quiet contemplation centered around the simplest of objects, an empty teacup. Imagine, if you will, a softly lit room, perhaps the scent of aged wood from an old temple floor, or the distant, delicate sigh of wind chimes carried on a cool night breeze. Moonlight, a silver wash, might be painting patterns on the shoji screens. In this serene space, what if the deepest wisdom we seek lies not in what we gather, or what we strive to become, but in the quiet spaces we allow to remain open, receptive, and simply empty? Before we begin, feel free to like and subscribe, but only if your heart resonates. We'd love for you to share where you're listening from tonight, creating a quiet constellation of listeners around the world, all seeking a moment of peace. Now, breathe in. Exhale slowly, and let's begin our quiet journey together. And so, you find yourself here, in a space of gentle quiet, a sanctuary carved from the usual cadence of your day. Before you, resting on a low wooden table, polished smooth by time and touch, sits a teacup. It is unadorned, unassuming, yet it seems to radiate a profound stillness. Your gaze is drawn to it, not by any ornate design or vibrant color, but by its sheer simplicity, its quiet invitation. This is the empty cup's call, a silent beckoning to look closer, to feel deeper. You reach out, your fingers tracing the cool curve of its ceramic side. The glaze is perhaps a soft, earthy tone, or maybe a pale celadon, like the first hint of dawn in a winter sky. It's not perfect. There might be a subtle unevenness where the potter's hand lingered, a tiny bubble in the glaze, a testament to its humble human origin. These are not flaws, but quiet stories. The cup doesn't shout for attention. It merely is. It waits. Its emptiness is palpable. It's not a void of lack, but a space of pure potential. This is the first whisper of its wisdom, the profound power of receptivity. Like the vast, silent sky that holds the sun, the moon, and all the stars without effort, the cup's emptiness is its strength, its very purpose. It is empty so that it may be filled. It is open so that it may receive. Can you feel that same potential for openness within yourself? That quiet space waiting to be acknowledged? Consider the journey of this cup. Once, it was simple clay, part of the earth, holding the memory of ancient stones and slow geological time. It lay dormant, formless, until drawn forth by mindful hands, shaped by intention, and transformed by fire. Yet, even in its new form, it carries the essence of that humble origin, a connection to the deep, quiet ground beneath your feet. It has been changed, yet it retains an elemental truth. This transformation, from raw earth to a vessel of such serene simplicity, is a quiet lesson in itself. A reminder that profound beauty often arises from the most unassuming beginnings, shaped by patience and gentle intention. The air around the cup seems stiller, clearer. As you observe its empty roundness, a paradox gently surfaces. In its profound emptiness, the cup holds the promise of all flavors, all experiences it might one day contain. It is complete in its current state of not yet fullness. This is a core teaching of Zen, this understanding of shunyata, often translated as emptiness. It's not a nihilistic void, but a dynamic, pregnant emptiness, the very ground of being from which all forms arise and to which they return. The cup, in its silent, open state, is a perfect embodiment of this. It doesn't cling to a past state of being full, nor does it anxiously await a future filling. It simply is now, perfectly empty, perfectly ready. Imagine your own mind as this teacup. How often is it filled to the brim with thoughts, worries, plans, and memories, leaving no space for anything new to enter? The constant internal chatter can obscure the quiet wisdom that is always present. waiting to be heard. The empty teacup offers a different way. It suggests that by allowing for moments of inner emptiness, by creating space within, you become more receptive to the subtle beauty of the present moment, to fresh insights, to the gentle whispers of your own deeper knowing. The invitation of the cup is not an aggressive demand, but a soft pull, like the gentle gravity that keeps the stars in their courses. It asks for nothing but your quiet attention. It asks you to simply be with it, to observe its form, its space, its silence. And in that shared silence, a deeper connection forms. You are not just looking at an object, you are communing with a principle, an ancient understanding. The cup is a teacher, and its first lesson is the profound eloquence of the unsaid, the limitless potential held within the void. It is a call to return to a beginner's mind, open and curious, ready to receive without preconceived notions. This simple, unadorned vessel, resting quietly, holds a universe of meaning if you are willing to pause, to breathe, and to listen to its silent, empty call. It's an invitation to find the extraordinary within the profoundly ordinary. Now, you gently lift the teacup. Your hands cradle its form, cool and smooth against your palms. Feel its weight, light yet substantial, a grounding presence. This act of holding stillness is itself a meditation. The world outside this quiet moment may be full of movement, of hurry, of demands. But here, with this simple cup, there is only the present, held softly in your hands. The curve of the rim meets your thumbs, a subtle invitation to pause. As you hold it, notice the almost imperceptible texture of the glaze. Is it perfectly smooth, like polished river stone? Or does it carry a faint grain, a memory of the potter's wheel, a whisper of its journey into being? Allow your senses to fully engage with this simple object. The cup doesn't ask for judgment or analysis. It simply offers itself to your awareness. This focused attention, this gentle holding, stills the restless mind. It's like finding a single perfect pebble on a vast shore and giving it your complete, unhurried regard. The stillness you hold is not a dead, static thing. It is alive, vibrant with potential. The cup is empty, yet it is fully present, occupying its space with a quiet dignity. This is the nature of true stillness. Not an absence of energy, but a gathering of it, a centeredness. Think of a deep forest pool, its surface undisturbed, reflecting the sky with perfect clarity. The water is still, yet it teems with unseen life, and its stillness allows it to mirror the vastness above. So too, the teacup, in its quietude, reflects a deeper truth. Consider the paradox. By holding this empty vessel, you are in a way being held by it. Its simple form provides a focus, an anchor for your attention, drawing you into the here and now. The very act of not doing anything with the cup, not rushing to fill it or use it, allows its essence to communicate more deeply. It teaches the art of being, rather than constant becoming. This is a gentle countercurrent to the world's usual insistence on action and productivity. Here, the value lies in simply being present with what is. The slight pressure of the cup in your hands is a reminder of your own physical presence. Feel the warmth of your skin against the cooler ceramic. Notice the subtle adjustments your fingers make to hold it securely, yet gently. This mindful contact bridges the gap between you and the object, dissolving the sense of separation. For a moment, you and the teacup are not two distinct entities, but participants in a shared moment of quiet existence. It's a lesson in non-duality, the interconnectedness of all things, experienced not as an abstract concept, but as a felt reality. The stillness held within the cup is also an invitation to find that same stillness within yourself. Can you allow your thoughts to settle, like dust motes in an undisturbed room? Can you let the inner clamor subside, even for a few breaths, to mirror the serene emptiness you are holding? The cup offers no resistance. It simply is. Perhaps you too can simply be, without resisting the present moment, without striving for something other than what is. Imagine the life of a Zen monk, rising before dawn, moving through the day with measured, mindful actions. Each task, whether sweeping the temple grounds or tending the garden, is performed with this same quality of focused presence. The monks understand that enlightenment is not found in some distant future or exotic practice, but in the complete attention given to the ordinary moments of life. Holding this teacup, you touch upon that same wisdom. It's a reminder that the sacred is not separate from the mundane. It is woven into its very fabric, waiting to be perceived through the lens of mindful awareness. The curve of the teacup, fitting so naturally into your hands, speaks of harmony, of form, perfectly suited to its purpose, or in this case, its potential purpose. There is a gentle integrity to its design. It doesn't try to be anything other than what it is. This authenticity is deeply calming. In a world that often asks us to wear masks, to project images, the teacup's simple honesty is a balm. It's a quiet encouragement to embrace your own authentic nature, without pretense, without striving. As you continue to hold the cup, breathe deeply. With each inhalation, imagine you are drawing in the quiet serenity of the moment. With each exhalation, let go of any tension, any lingering busyness of the mind. Let the stillness of the cup permeate your being. It is a quiet anchor in the gentle flow of time. The simple act of holding, done with mindful attention, becomes a profound practice, a way of centering yourself and connecting with the deep well of peace that resides within you, just as the potential for fullness resides within the empty cup. It is a paradox of stillness. In its quietude, it is immensely powerful, a foundation for clear seeing and gentle being. Now let your thoughts drift to the teacup's origin, its humble beginnings as simple clay. Imagine the earth from which it came, dark, rich, holding the memory of fallen leaves and ancient rains, a silent witness to the slow turning of seasons. This clay, unassuming and formless, held within it the potential for this very cup you now hold. This is the essence of clay and spirit, the journey from raw, untamed nature to an object of quiet contemplation, shaped by mindful human hands. Consider the potter. Picture them at their wheel, hands wet with slip, their focus absolute. The spinning clay, at first resistant, gradually yields to the gentle, persistent pressure of their fingers. There is a dance here, a dialogue between the artist and the material. The potter does not force the clay into an unwilling shape, but rather coaxes it, listens to its nature, guides it towards its inherent potential. This is an act of creation imbued with Zen sensibility, working with, not against, the natural flow of things. Each movement is precise, yet fluid, born from years of practice, from a deep intuitive understanding of the medium. The teacup, then, is not merely a manufactured object. It is a testament to this mindful process. It carries within its form the imprint of the potter's intention, their centered presence. The subtle variations in its shape, the slight asymmetry, these are not imperfections but signatures of its handmade journey. They speak of a human touch, of a connection to a lineage of artisans who understood that true beauty often lies in the unique character of the individual piece, rather than in sterile, mass-produced uniformity. This is the Zen aesthetic of wabi-sabi, finding beauty in imperfection, in the transient, in the humble. As you hold the cup, you are in a sense holding this entire story. The earth, the potter, the fire that transformed it. The spirit of the clay, its earthy essence, is still present, even in its refined form. It's a reminder of our own connection to the natural world, that we too are earthborn, shaped by experiences, yet retaining a core, elemental nature. The cup, in its simple materiality, bridges the gap between the raw and the refined, the natural and the created. Think of the elements involved: earth, water, fire, and air. The clay, earth, is mixed with water to become malleable. It is shaped by human hands, guided by spirit and skill. Then, it is dried by air before facing the transformative heat of the kiln. The fire does not destroy, it purifies, it strengthens, it vitrifies the clay, giving it permanence and resilience. This alchemical process is a metaphor for our own inner transformations. The challenges we face, the fires of life, can, if met with awareness and acceptance, serve to strengthen our spirit, to reveal our own enduring qualities. The Zen teaching of no self, anatman, can be gently understood through the teacup's creation. The clay itself has no inherent cupness. It becomes a cup only through a confluence of conditions: the potter's skill, the right consistency of the clay, the heat of the kiln. Similarly, our sense of a fixed, independent self is an illusion. We are a constantly changing process, a flow of thoughts, feelings, and sensations, shaped by countless causes and conditions. The teacup, in its simple existence, embodies this dependent origination. It is because other things are. This teacup, then, is more than just a vessel. It is a quiet symbol of transformation, of the beauty that can emerge when elemental nature is met with mindful intention. It reminds you that even the most ordinary materials, the most humble beginnings, can give rise to something of profound simplicity and grace. The spirit of the Zen practitioner, like the spirit of the potter, is one of patience, presence, and a deep respect for the inherent nature of things. There is no rush, no forcing, only a gentle allowing, a guiding towards an unfolding. Feel the cool solidity of the cup again. It has passed through fire, yet it rests peacefully in your hands. It is a survivor in a gentle way. It doesn't boast of its ordeal, but its very being is a testament to its resilience. This quiet strength is a powerful lesson. True strength isn't about aggression or dominance. It's about endurance, about maintaining your core integrity through the changing circumstances of life, much like the cup retains its form. The spirit infused into the clay is not something mystical or otherworldly added from outside. It is the inherent potential within the clay itself, awakened and brought forth by the potter's mindful engagement. In the same way, your own deepest spiritual nature is not something to be acquired, but something to be uncovered, already present within you, waiting for the gentle touch of awareness. The journey of the clay to cup is a mirror for your own journey towards recognizing the quiet, inherent spirit that animates your being. It's a story of finding the sacred in the substance of life itself. Now, your gaze drifts from the outer form of the teacup to its inner space, the unassuming concavity that gives it purpose. This is where you discover the gift of void, the profound realization that the teacup's truest function, its very essence as a cup, lies not in its walls, but in the emptiness they define. If it were solid ceramic through and through, it would be a mere paperweight, a lump of fired clay. It is the space within, the carefully crafted nothingness, that allows it to receive, to hold, to offer. This simple observation holds a deep spiritual paradox, a cornerstone of Zen thought. We often focus on what is present, on what we can see and touch, the form, the substance. Yet, it is often the unseen, the empty space, that gives meaning and utility to the form. Lao Tzu, in the Tao Te Ching, speaks of this. 30 spokes share the wheel's hub. It is the center hole that makes it useful. Shape clay into a vessel. It is the space within that makes it useful. Cut doors and windows for a room. It is the holes which make it useful. Therefore, profit comes from what is there, usefulness from what is not there. The teacup in your hands is a perfect, humble illustration of this ancient wisdom. This void is not a deficiency or a lack. It is a receptive, potent emptiness. It is the silent invitation to be filled. Think of a perfectly silent room. It is not empty of sound in a negative sense. Rather, it is full of the potential for any sound to be heard with perfect clarity. The empty teacup possesses this same quality. Its emptiness is a state of pure readiness, of unqualified welcome. It doesn't discriminate. It will accept water, tea, or even air with equal grace. Consider how this principle applies to your own inner life. A mind cluttered with constant thoughts, judgments, and preoccupations is like a cup already full. There is no space for new insights to arise, no room for the quiet voice of intuition to be heard. By cultivating moments of inner stillness, of emptiness, you create the possibility for something fresh and profound to enter. This is the practice of Mushin, or no mind in Zen. Not a state of blankness, but a mind uncluttered by ego and conceptual thought, open and responsive to the present moment. The gift of void is the gift of possibility. As long as the cup is empty, it can become anything. A vessel for soothing tea, for bitter medicine, for clear water. This infinite potential is lost the moment it is permanently filled and never emptied. Our lives, too, can become rigid and limited if we cling too tightly to fixed identities, beliefs, and habits. The willingness to embrace a degree of inner emptiness, to let go of preconceived notions, allows for growth, for transformation, for the unexpected unfolding of life. The edge of the teacup, the rim, is where the form meets the void, where substance defines space. It is a delicate boundary, a point of transition. This rim doesn't own the emptiness within, nor does the emptiness belong to the rim. They co-create each other. This is a beautiful illustration of non-duality. Form is emptiness, and emptiness is form, as the Heart Sutra teaches. The tangible reality of the cup's walls and the intangible reality of its inner space are not separate, but two aspects of a single unified whole. You cannot have one without the other. Imagine the freedom of this empty space. It is unburdened by a past, unanxious about a future. It simply is, in the eternal now. When you can touch that quality of spaciousness within your own mind, you experience a similar freedom, a release from the weight of rumination and worry. The teacup's void is a silent teacher, showing you that true peace and liberation are found not in acquiring more, but in becoming more open, more receptive, more empty of the ego's constant striving. This understanding doesn't mean renouncing the world or becoming passive. Rather, it means engaging with the world from a place of inner spaciousness. The empty cup is perfectly poised to fulfill its function precisely because it is empty. Similarly, a mind that is open and uncluttered can respond to life's situations with greater clarity, compassion, and effectiveness. The void is not about absence, but about pure, unbiased presence. As you contemplate the dark, smooth interior of the cup, feel its quiet invitation. It's a sanctuary, a still point. It doesn't demand anything from you. It simply offers its emptiness as a space for your own reflection. What arises in you as you peer into this gentle void? Perhaps a sense of calm, a letting go, a quiet understanding that you don't need to be constantly full of thoughts or activities to be whole. The teacup, in its profound simplicity, whispers that there is immense value, immense power in the spaces between, in the quiet receptivity of an open heart and an empty mind. This is the true, unassuming gift of the void. Now, imagine a subtle shift in the scene. Someone approaches, perhaps a quiet attendant in this imagined temple, or simply the gentle hand of your own intention. A steaming pot of tea appears, its spout poised just above the rim of your empty cup. You observe this moment of imminent connection, the anticipation of the warm liquid meeting the cool, receptive ceramic. This is the cup welcoming the flow, a graceful acceptance of what is offered. Watch as the first drops of tea begin to fall, a dark amber stream arching silently into the center of the cup. There is no resistance, no hesitation. The cup, in its perfect emptiness, is entirely ready. It doesn't question the nature of the tea, its temperature, or its origin. It simply receives. This act of receiving is not passive. It is an act of allowing, a yielding that is itself a form of strength. It's a quiet lesson in acceptance, in meeting life's offerings with an open and undefended heart. As the tea flows, it begins to fill the void you were just contemplating. The space that was defined by its emptiness now takes on a new character, a new identity, as it cradles the warm infusion. The sound, if you listen closely, is soft, a gentle murmur, a sigh of liquid meeting ceramic. It's a sound of completion, yet also of transformation. The cup is no longer just an empty form. It is now a vessel fulfilling one of its many potential destinies. This moment of filling is a beautiful metaphor for how we receive experiences in life. Are you open to the flow, like the teacup? Or do you sometimes find yourself resisting, judging, or trying to control what comes your way? The teacup teaches a different approach, a simple open receptivity. This doesn't mean a lack of discernment, but rather an initial posture of willingness to encounter what is, without immediate rejection or grasping. Consider the Zen teaching of beginner's mind, Shoshin. The empty cup embodies this perfectly. It approaches each filling as if it were the first time, with no preconceived notions based on past experiences. It is fresh, open, and ready. To cultivate beginner's mind is to see the world anew in each moment, to let go of the staleness of habit and assumption, and to meet life with curiosity and wonder. The tea entering the cup is like a new experience entering your awareness. Can you receive it with that same freshness? The rising level of the tea within the cup is a visual representation of the present moment unfolding. It's not rushing to be full, nor is it lingering in its previous state of emptiness. It is simply engaged in the process of becoming, moment by moment. This is mindfulness in action, being fully present with the experience as it happens, without judgment, without clinging, without aversion. The gentle filling of the cup is a serene drama, a quiet unfolding of potential into actuality. Notice how the tea adapts to the shape of the cup. It doesn't try to impose its own form. It conforms perfectly to the vessel that receives it. This is a lesson in flexibility, in adaptability. Life often presents us with circumstances that are not of our choosing. The ability to adapt, to flow with the changing contours of our experiences, like water taking the shape of its container, is a hallmark of wisdom. The tea, in its fluid grace, demonstrates this effortlessly. The once empty space is now alive with color, aroma, and warmth. The potential has become manifest. Yet, the essential nature of the cup itself, its ceramic form, its underlying emptiness, remains unchanged. It is still the same cup, merely engaged in a different aspect of its being. This speaks to our own core identity. Experiences come and go, emotions rise and fall, but our fundamental awareness, that quiet inner space, can remain a constant observing presence, much like the cup remains itself, whether empty or full. The act of welcoming the flow is also an act of trust. The cup trusts that it can hold what is offered, that its structure is sound. When you approach life with an open heart, there is an element of trust involved. Trust in your own capacity to meet challenges, to process experiences, to find your way. This isn't a blind faith, but a quiet confidence born from self-awareness and an acceptance of life's inherent impermanence. The steam now begins to rise from the surface of the tea, carrying its subtle fragrance. The cup not only receives but also begins to share what it has been given. This is the natural cycle. Emptiness allows for receiving, and receiving leads to a potential for offering. The wisdom of the teacup is not just in its passive acceptance, but in its role as a conduit, a means by which something soothing and nourishing can be shared. As you watch the tea fill the cup, feel that sense of gentle abundance, of simple needs being met, of the quiet beauty in the act of gracious receiving. The welcoming of this warm flow is a soft embrace, a moment of perfect, uncomplicated harmony. Now, the tea has settled within the cup, a still, warm pool of liquid amber. You lift the cup again, this time feeling a different sensation. The coolness of the ceramic is now overlaid with a gentle, radiating warmth that seeps into your palms, a comforting presence. This is warmth's embrace, an immersion in the present moment, experienced through the simple act of holding a cup of freshly poured tea. Bring the cup closer. Notice the subtle aroma that rises with the steam, perhaps the earthy scent of roasted hojicha, the grassy notes of sencha, or the delicate fragrance of a white tea. Allow this scent to fill your awareness, a gentle invitation to be fully here, now. The aroma is an invisible presence, yet it profoundly shapes the experience, a reminder that not all realities are perceived through sight alone. This is a lesson in appreciating the subtle, the often overlooked nuances that enrich our lives. The warmth in your hands is a direct, sensory connection to the present. It is not a memory of past warmth, nor an anticipation of future warmth. It is happening in this very instant. This is the essence of mindfulness, anchoring your awareness in the direct experience of the now. The teacup, now filled, becomes a small, warm hearth, a focal point for this mindful attention. It's a simple pleasure, yet profound in its ability to center you, to draw you away from the scattered energies of thought and into the felt reality of your senses. Consider the Zen teaching of everyday mind is the way. Enlightenment or deep understanding is not found in some extraordinary transcendent state separate from daily life, but rather in the full attentive engagement with ordinary moments, holding this warm cup, feeling its heat, inhaling its fragrance. This is the way. There is nothing more you need to do, nowhere else you need to be. The profound is found in the simple, when approached with complete presence. The warmth is also a symbol of nourishment, of comfort. Tea itself has long been associated with monastic life, with periods of meditation, providing gentle stimulation and a moment of restorative pause. The warmth of the cup in your hands is like a gentle hand offered in companionship, a silent reassurance. It speaks of care, both in the preparation of the tea and in your own mindful reception of it. As you hold the cup, observe the stillness of the tea's surface. For a moment, it might be a perfect mirror, reflecting the light, or perhaps even a distorted miniature image of your own face looking down. This stillness, however, is temporary. The slightest movement of your hand, a gentle breeze, will send ripples across its surface. This is a beautiful illustration of impermanence, anicca, a core Buddhist teaching. All things are in constant flux, ever-changing. The calm surface of the tea, like the calm moments in our lives, is precious but not permanent. The wisdom lies not in trying to freeze these moments, but in appreciating them fully while they last. The warmth radiates outwards, not just into your hands, but into the surrounding air. It's a subtle offering, a gentle sharing of its nature. This is the effortless generosity of being. The tea doesn't try to be warm. It simply is warm, and that warmth naturally extends. Similarly, when you cultivate inner peace and kindness, these qualities naturally radiate from you, influencing your interactions and the atmosphere around you without conscious effort. The paradox here is that by focusing on this very simple, mundane experience, the warmth of a teacup, you can touch upon something quite profound. The mind, so often drawn to complexity and drama, finds a point of rest in this uncomplicated sensation. In this rest, there is clarity. The gentle warmth soothes not just your hands, but perhaps also a subtle inner agitation. It's a grounding force, pulling you back to your body, back to the earth, back to the present. Imagine a monk in a quiet zendo, sitting in meditation. After a long period of stillness, a cup of tea is offered. The warmth, the aroma, the taste. These are not distractions from the meditation, but extensions of it. They are opportunities to practice mindfulness, to be fully present with each sensation. Your experience with this teacup now is no different. It is a zendo of one, a practice of quiet attention. Let the warmth spread through your fingers, up your arms, a gentle wave of comfort. This sensation is real, tangible, undeniable. It anchors you. In a world of fleeting thoughts and abstract worries, the physical reality of this warmth is a sanctuary. It's a reminder to come back to your senses, to inhabit your body fully. The teacup, filled with its warm offering, embraces you with its simple, honest presence, asking nothing in return but your quiet awareness. It is a moment of pure, uncomplicated being, held in the gentle cradle of warmth. As you continue to hold the warm teacup, your gaze softens, settling upon the still surface of the tea within. If the light is just right, perhaps from a nearby window hinting at a crescent moon, or the soft glow of an unseen lamp, you might notice a subtle reflection playing upon the liquid. This is where you encounter moonlit reflections, where the still surface within the teacup mirrors, not just the external light, but also hints at the quiet depths of your own inner world, silent and profound. The surface of the tea, contained within the humble circle of the cup's rim, becomes a miniature cosmos. Like a dark, tranquil pond on a windless night, it has the capacity to reflect the vastness above. A fleck of dust, a tiny imperfection on the surface, might appear like a distant star. This ability of the small to reflect the immense is a recurring theme in Zen. A single dewdrop can mirror the entire moon. A simple teacup can hold the universe of your attention. This reflection is not the tea itself, nor is it the source of light it mirrors. It is an interplay, a dance between the receptive stillness of the liquid and the illuminating presence of light. This teaches a subtle lesson about perception. What we perceive as reality is often such an interplay, our inner state coloring our experience of the outer world. When the mind is turbulent, like a choppy sea, it cannot reflect clearly. But when the mind is still, like the surface of this tea, it can perceive with greater clarity and depth. The moon, often a symbol in Zen poetry and art, represents enlightenment, serene awareness, or the Buddha nature within all beings. Its reflection in the water is a classic metaphor for how this inherent nature can be perceived. The moon is always in the sky, but only when the water is still and clear can its image be seen. Similarly, your own innate wisdom and peace are always present, but they become apparent only when the waters of your mind are calm and undisturbed. The teacup holding its still, reflective tea becomes a small personal pond for such moon-gazing. Consider the paradox. The reflection seems to be in the tea, yet the moon itself is far away. The image is both present and not present. This hints at the nature of illusion and reality. Our everyday perceptions, our strong sense of self, can be like these reflections. Compelling, seemingly real, yet ultimately not the fundamental truth of our being. Zen practice encourages us to see through these surface appearances to the deeper, underlying reality. Much like looking beyond the reflection to the water itself, and beyond the water to the cup that holds it, and beyond the cup to the emptiness it defines. The stillness required for a clear reflection is not a forced stillness. You cannot command the tea to be still. You can only provide the conditions, a steady hand, a quiet environment, and allow the stillness to arise naturally. So it is with the mind. Forcing the mind to be quiet often creates more agitation. Instead, through gentle, consistent practice, like mindful breathing or observing the teacup, you create the conditions for inner stillness to emerge on its own. Imagine a Zen master pointing at the moon's reflection in a puddle. The student, focused on the puddle, might try to grasp the reflection, only to disturb the water and lose the image. The master's intention is to direct the student's gaze towards the moon itself, the source. Our experiences, our thoughts, our emotions are like these reflections. They are real in their own way, but they are not the ultimate source. The teacup, with its still, dark liquid, invites you to ponder what moon your own inner state is reflecting. Is it reflecting peace, agitation, clarity? The reflection is also ephemeral. A slight tremor, a breath of wind, and it shivers, distorts, or vanishes, only to reform as stillness returns. This speaks to the impermanent, ever-changing nature of our thoughts and perceptions. Clinging to any particular mental state, whether pleasant or unpleasant, is like trying to hold on to a reflection in water. The wiser path is to observe the play of these reflections with a sense of equanimity, knowing that they too shall pass. As you gaze into the teacup, let your awareness be like that still surface. Allow thoughts and sensations to arise and pass, like clouds reflected in water, without disturbing the underlying calm. The teacup in this moment is not just a vessel for tea, but a tool for introspection, a dark mirror for the soul. The moonlit reflections it offers are not grand celestial events, but quiet, intimate glimpses into the nature of mind and reality. It's an invitation to find the profound in the subtle, to see the reflection of your own deepest awareness in the simple stillness of tea held in an earthen cup. This quiet mirroring connects the humble object in your hands to the vast, silent mystery of your own consciousness. As your fingers gently trace the rim of the teacup, or perhaps move down its curved side, you might become aware of subtle variations in its surface. A tiny bump in the glaze, a slight unevenness in the form, a place where the color is a shade lighter or darker. These are not flaws to be lamented, but rather the unique signature of its creation, the quiet story of its journey. Here, you encounter the Zen principle of beauty in imperfection, an appreciation for the authentic, the unpretentious, the perfectly imperfect. This aesthetic, often referred to as wabi-sabi, finds profound beauty in the humble, the rustic, and the marks of time and use. It stands in gentle contrast to a pursuit of flawless, symmetrical, mass-produced perfection. A teacup valued in the Zen tradition might be prized precisely for a crack that has been lovingly repaired with gold lacquer, kintsugi, highlighting the breakage as part of its history, making it more beautiful and resilient than before. While your cup may not be ancient or repaired, its small irregularities speak to the same spirit, an acceptance and even celebration of things as they truly are. Consider the natural world, a constant source of inspiration for Zen. A weathered stone covered in moss, a gnarled pine tree shaped by wind and time, the asymmetrical pattern of veins on a fallen leaf. These are not perfect in a conventional geometric sense, yet they possess a deep, resonant beauty. The teacup in your hands, with its subtle imperfections, partakes of this same natural aesthetic. It feels authentic, real, unburdened by the need to present an idealized image. This appreciation for imperfection is deeply comforting. It releases you from the relentless pressure to be flawless, to always present a polished facade. The teacup whispers that it is okay to be as you are, with all your unique quirks and human frailties. In fact, these are the very things that make you, and the cup, interesting, relatable, and possessed of a unique character. This is a quiet revolution against the tyranny of unattainable ideals. Think of an old Zen master, perhaps with a weathered face and simple robes. Their wisdom doesn't come from an absence of flaws, but from a deep understanding and acceptance of their own humanity and the humanity of others. They embody a kind of spiritual wabi-sabi, their imperfections integrated into a larger, compassionate whole. The teacup, in its humble way, reflects this same integrity. It doesn't hide its origins or the process of its making. The paradox here is that by embracing imperfection, a deeper kind of perfection is revealed. The perfection of authenticity, of being true to one's nature. A perfectly symmetrical, machine-made cup might be technically flawless, but it can lack the heart or spirit of a handmade piece. The slight tremor of the potter's hand, the way the glaze pooled uniquely in one spot. These are not mistakes, but evidence of life, of a human touch. This acceptance of imperfection extends to our own practice and our own lives. We may strive for mindfulness or inner peace, but the path is rarely a straight line. There will be moments of distraction, of impatience, of falling back into old habits. The wisdom of wabi-sabi, as embodied by the teacup, teaches us to meet these imperfections in our practice not with harsh self-criticism, but with gentle acceptance, much like we accept a slight warp in the rim of the cup. These are simply part of the journey, part of what makes our path uniquely our own. Run your fingertip over a small irregularity. It doesn't detract from the cup's ability to hold tea, to offer warmth. Its function remains intact. Similarly, our own perceived flaws do not necessarily diminish our capacity for kindness, for love, for growth. Sometimes, it is through our vulnerabilities, our cracks, that our light can shine more brightly, or that we can connect more deeply with others. The teacup, in its quiet, imperfect beauty, invites you to see the world and yourself with more compassionate eyes. It encourages a letting go of rigid standards and an opening to the beauty of as-isness. This is not an excuse for complacency, but a foundation for genuine, sustainable growth. Growth that is rooted in self-acceptance rather than self-rejection. The subtle story told in its slight asymmetries and textural variations is a profound lesson. True beauty is not about the absence of flaws, but about the presence of character, history, and the gentle touch of life itself. It's an invitation to find peace not in an idealized future perfection, but in the rich, imperfect tapestry of the present moment. The warmth of the tea has now begun to soften, the initial flush of heat mellowing into a gentle comfort. Perhaps you have taken a few sips, or maybe you have simply been holding it, absorbing its presence. Eventually, the tea diminishes, and the moment arrives for the cup to return to its state of emptiness. This is the gentle release, a soft lesson in non-attachment, observing the natural cycle of filling and emptying without clinging or regret. As the last drops are savored, or perhaps poured out in a quiet offering, watch the interior of the cup become visible once more. The dark, moist surface, glistening with the remnants of the tea, slowly begins to dry. The strong aroma fades, leaving behind a more delicate, lingering scent. This process of emptying is as natural, as integral to the cup's existence, as the process of filling. One cannot happen without the other. They are two sides of the same coin, the ebb and flow of being. This is a direct experience of impermanence, not as a fearful loss, but as a natural, graceful transition. The tea was here, warm and fragrant, and now it is gone. The cup does not mourn its absence. It does not desperately try to hold on to the last vestiges of the tea. It simply lets go, returning to its inherent state of receptive emptiness, ready for whatever comes next, or for a period of simple, quiet rest. In Zen, non-attachment, hishiryo, is a key principle. It is not about emotional detachment or indifference, but rather about not clinging to things, experiences, or states of mind as if they were permanent and essential for our happiness. The full cup was pleasant, but its emptying is not a tragedy. It is simply the way of things. By observing this in the simple act of finishing a cup of tea, you can practice this profound wisdom in a gentle, accessible way. Consider how often in life we try to hold on to pleasant experiences, to prolong moments of joy, or to resist change. This clinging is a source of inner turning, of gentle longing that can become dissatisfaction. The teacup, in its effortless release, shows another way. It accepts the cycle. It understands, in its silent ceramic wisdom, that emptiness is not an end, but a preparation for a new beginning, or a return to a state of peaceful potential. The gentle release is also an act of cleansing. Once empty, the cup can be rinsed, ready to receive afresh, without the flavors of the previous infusion unduly influencing the next. This is a metaphor for clearing the mind. Old thoughts, lingering emotions, past grievances, if we allow them to accumulate, they can cloud our perception and sour our present experience. The act of emptying the cup of the mind, through meditation or mindful awareness, allows for clarity, for a fresh perspective, for the ability to meet each new moment without the residue of the past. There is a subtle beauty in this emptying. The cup, having fulfilled its purpose of holding an offering, now rests. There is a sense of completion, of a cycle fulfilled. It's like the quiet satisfaction after a task well done, or the peacefulness that follows a deep exhalation. The energy that was focused on the experience of the full, warm cup now disperses, becomes more diffuse, merging back into the general stillness of the room. Think of the autumn leaves falling from a tree. The tree does not cling to its leaves. It lets them go, releasing them to nourish the earth, understanding that this emptying is necessary for the rest of winter and the new growth of spring. The teacup's release of the tea is a miniature version of this grand natural cycle. It is a participation in the universal rhythm of gain and loss, of fullness and emptiness, of arising and passing away. The paradox here is that in letting go, the cup regains its full potential. When it was full of tea, its potential was limited to being a vessel for that specific tea. Once empty, it is again open to all possibilities. Similarly, when we let go of rigid attachments, to ideas, to identities, to outcomes, we open ourselves up to a wider range of experiences, a greater sense of freedom and flow. The release is not a loss of something valuable, but a return to a state of pure, open possibility. As you set the now empty cup back down, observe it. It sits with the same quiet dignity as it did before, perhaps with a few lingering drops inside, a faint scent. It is unchanged in its essential nature by the experience of being filled and emptied. It has simply participated in a process. This offers a profound sense of reassurance. We too can pass through experiences, both joyful and challenging, and return to our core being, perhaps enriched, perhaps carrying a faint scent of what has been, but fundamentally whole and ready. The gentle release of the teacup is a quiet masterclass in the art of letting go. The teacup now rests before you, empty once more, yet subtly changed. It is not the same pristine emptiness it held before the tea was poured. Now, there are lingering echoes, a delicate resonance of the experience that just unfolded. A faint, sweet scent might still emanate from within, a ghost of the tea's aroma. Perhaps a tiny droplet or two still clings to the inner curve, catching the light like a forgotten jewel. These are the subtle remnants, the sweet scent of memory left behind. This is not a clinging to the past, but a gentle acknowledgement of what has been. The cup doesn't mourn the tea's absence, but it carries a subtle imprint of its presence. This is akin to how our own experiences shape us. We move through life, and each significant moment, Each heartfelt connection leaves a trace within us, a subtle fragrance that becomes part of the unique tapestry of our being. These are not burdens to be carried, but soft echoes that enrich our inner landscape. The lingering scent is a reminder of the beauty of impermanence. The full-bodied aroma of the fresh tea was vibrant and immediate, but this faint, delicate trace has its own quiet charm. It speaks of something that was precious, that was savored, and that has now passed, leaving behind a gentle whisper. It teaches us to appreciate not just the peak moments, but also the subtle afterglow, the quiet resonance that follows. Consider the Zen practice of mindfulness of sensations. Even after a strong sensation fades, a sound, a taste, a feeling, there is often a subtle echo, a reverberation in the field of awareness. Paying attention to these faint traces can deepen our sensitivity, our appreciation for the nuanced, ever-changing flow of experience. The teacup, with its lingering scent, invites you into this subtle awareness. It's like listening to the silence after a beautiful piece of music has ended. A silence that is somehow richer, more resonant, because of the notes that came before. This lingering echo is also a testament to the cup's receptivity. Because it was truly open and empty, it could fully receive the tea, and therefore, it now carries its subtle essence. If the cup had been closed off, or already full of something else, this delicate imprint would not have been possible. Similarly, when we are truly present and open to an experience, it touches us more deeply, leaving a more meaningful trace in our memory and our heart, not as a scar, but as a soft, shaping touch. The paradox here is that even in emptiness, there is a kind of fullness, the fullness of memory, of experience absorbed and integrated. The cup is empty of tea, but it is full of the story of the tea. This is not the clutter of an unexamined past, but the richness of a life fully lived, of moments mindfully encountered. The echoes are not ghosts that haunt, but gentle companions that remind us of the journey. Imagine an old temple, the wood polished smooth by centuries of hands, the air imbued with the faint, almost imperceptible scent of incense burned long ago. These are the lingering echoes of devotion, of countless moments of presence. The temple is not stuck in the past, but it carries its history with a quiet dignity, a depth that newness cannot replicate. Your teacup, in its small way, partakes of this same quality. Each use, each filling and emptying, adds another subtle layer to its story, another faint echo to its being. This subtle resonance is also an invitation to gratitude. The faint scent is a reminder of the gift of the tea, the warmth, the moment of quiet contemplation it provided. It encourages a soft appreciation for the simple pleasures, for the transient beauty that touches our lives. Gratitude, in Zen, is not just for the big, obvious blessings, but for the everyday, for the ordinary, for the very fact of existence, with all its comings and goings. As you observe the empty cup, now imbued with these subtle traces, allow yourself to appreciate the quiet beauty of these lingering echoes. They are a testament to the flow of life, to the way experiences touch us and then recede, leaving behind a wisdom, a fragrance, a gentle shift in our inner landscape. The cup doesn't try to amplify these echoes or make them permanent. It simply allows them to be, to fade naturally in their own time. This is a profound lesson in acceptance, in letting the past be a soft, sweetening influence rather than a heavy anchor. The empty cup, still humming with the memory of tea, is a poem of gentle remembrance. Gazing at the teacup, now resting quietly, its cycle of filling and emptying complete for the moment, you begin to see beyond its simple form. Its humble wisdom, its lessons in emptiness, receptivity, and gentle release extend far beyond its ceramic confines. You begin to see how the teacup's simple truth mirrors a larger principle, how your own heart, Your own life can be like life's open vessel, ready to receive, to hold, and to let go with grace. The teacup, in its quiet dignity, does not discriminate. It is open to whatever is offered, be it humble water or fragrant tea. Can you cultivate a similar openness in your heart? An openness to experience, to other people, to the unfolding moments of your life, without immediate judgment or resistance? This is not about naivete, but about a fundamental willingness to engage with reality as it is, with a curious and compassionate spirit. An open vessel is not afraid of being empty, for it knows that emptiness is the prerequisite for being filled. Consider the moments when your heart feels closed, perhaps due to past hurts, fear, or defensiveness. In those times, you are like a cup turned upside down, unable to receive the nourishment that life might be offering. The teacup, always upright, always open at its rim, suggests a different posture, one of vulnerability, yes, but also of immense courage and potential. To keep the heart open, even when it's difficult, is a profound spiritual practice. The Zen teaching of compassion, karuna, arises naturally from an open heart. When your vessel is open, you are more attuned to the experiences of others, more able to feel an empathetic connection. Just as the teacup holds the tea, an open heart can hold the joys and sorrows of the world with a greater capacity for understanding and kindness. It becomes a space where healing and connection can occur. The open vessel of your life is constantly being filled with experiences, moments of joy, challenges, learning, connection, solitude. Like the tea in the cup, these experiences shape the flavor of your present moment. The key is to allow these experiences to flow through you, much like the tea is eventually emptied from the cup. If you cling too tightly to any particular experience, whether good or bad, your vessel becomes cluttered, unable to receive anew. The art is in savoring the fullness, and then gracefully allowing the emptying, knowing that this creates space for the next unfolding. This doesn't mean your life needs to be dramatic or constantly eventful. The teacup finds its purpose even in holding simple water, or in just being empty and ready. An open life vessel finds meaning not just in grand experiences, but in the quiet moments, in the subtle shifts of awareness, in the simple act of being present. The openness itself is the treasure, for it allows you to fully participate in the dance of existence, whatever form that dance may take. The paradox of an open vessel is that while it is defined by its capacity to receive, its true strength lies in its resilience, its ability to be emptied and remain whole, ready for the next filling. It is not diminished by letting go. In fact, its identity as a vessel is reaffirmed each time it participates in this cycle. Your own resilience, your ability to navigate life's changes, to process experiences and integrate their lessons, is a testament to the strength of your open vessel. Each cycle of receiving and releasing can make you more spacious, more wise. Think of a bodhisattva, an enlightened being who, according to Mahayana Buddhist tradition, postpones their own ultimate nirvana to help liberate all sentient beings. Their heart is an infinitely open vessel, capable of holding the suffering of the world with immense compassion and offering boundless loving kindness in return. While this is a lofty ideal, the humble teacup offers a relatable starting point. Practice being an open vessel in your daily interactions, in your response to your own thoughts and emotions. Start small, with the simple intention to be a little more open, a little more receptive, a little more willing to let go. The teacup doesn't strive to be anything other than what it is. It simply is an open vessel. Can you find that same sense of ease in your own being? To accept yourself as you are, an unfolding process, a vessel with a unique capacity to experience life? This acceptance is the foundation of true openness. Life's open vessel isn't about achieving a perfect state of constant bliss. It's about embracing the full spectrum of human experience with a heart that remains willing, curious, and fundamentally undefended. The teacup, in its profound simplicity, continues to whisper its most generous invitation. Be open. The teacup, now empty and resting, offers another layer of its quiet wisdom. Just as it can be rinsed clean, ready for a new infusion, so too can you cultivate a mind unburdened, clearing your inner space for fresh insight and peaceful presence. This is the practice of mentally rinsing the teacup, letting go of the residue of past thoughts and experiences to return to a state of clarity. Imagine the inside of the cup after the tea has been emptied. There might be a few lingering droplets, a faint film, the subtle scent you noticed earlier, to prepare it for a completely different kind of tea, or simply to restore its pristine emptiness, you would gently rinse it with clear water. The water would swirl within, loosening and carrying away the remnants, leaving the ceramic clean and neutral once more. This simple act is a powerful metaphor for mental purification. Our minds, like teacups, accumulate residue. Thoughts, especially repetitive or negative ones, can stick around like stubborn tea stains. Emotional imprints from past events can linger, coloring our present perception. Worries about the future, plans, and judgments can create a kind of inner clutter, making it difficult to experience the freshness of the current moment. The Zen practice of meditation, in many ways, is like this rinsing process. It's not about stopping thought altogether, but about allowing thoughts to flow through without clinging to them, gently cleansing the mind of its habitual patterns. Consider the teaching of beginner's mind, Shoshin again. A rinsed teacup is the epitome of beginner's mind, fresh, clean, devoid of preconceptions, ready to receive whatever comes next without bias. When your mind is unburdened by old narratives and assumptions, you can approach each new experience, each new person, each new day with a sense of openness and curiosity. You see things as they are, rather than through the filter of past conditioning. The act of rinsing the mind is not a violent scrubbing, but a gentle allowing. Just as you would use clear water for the teacup, you use clear awareness for the mind. You observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment, acknowledging their presence and then letting them go, like water flowing through the cup and carrying away the debris. This is the essence of mindfulness, a kind of gentle, internal housekeeping. The paradox here is that by emptying the mind of its clutter, you don't lose anything of value. Instead, you gain clarity, peace, and a greater capacity for genuine understanding. A mind unburdened is not a blank mind, but a spacious mind, one that has room for new ideas, for intuition, for compassion to arise. It's like the difference between a murky pond and a clear one. Only the clear pond can accurately reflect the sky. Think of a Zen garden with its carefully raked sand. The raking is a daily practice, a ritual of smoothing away the disturbances of the previous day, creating patterns that evoke stillness and flow. This is a visual representation of clearing the mind. Each sweep of the rake is like a moment of mindful awareness, bringing order and serenity to the inner landscape. The empty, rinsed teacup embodies this same principle of serene order. This process of clearing your inner space is an ongoing practice, not a one-time event. Just as a teacup used daily needs regular rinsing, our minds benefit from regular moments of intentional clearing. This might be through formal meditation, a quiet walk in nature, or simply pausing throughout the day to take a few conscious breaths and let go of accumulated mental tension. The goal is not to achieve some permanent state of thoughtlessness, but to cultivate a mind that is resilient, flexible, and capable of returning to a state of calm clarity. When your inner space is clear, you are more receptive to subtle insights, those quiet ahas that often get drowned out by mental noise. The unburdened mind is a more creative mind, a more intuitive mind. It's like an artist's clean canvas, ready for a fresh inspiration, or a musician's tuned instrument, ready to produce clear notes. The teacup, rinsed and waiting, is a symbol of this pure potential. It holds no grudges from the last tea it held, no anxiety about the next. It simply is, in a state of pristine readiness. This is a profound invitation to cultivate that same quality of mind, to let go of what is past, to not anxiously anticipate what is to come, and to rest in the clean, open space of the present moment. A mind unburdened is a mind at peace, ready to receive the quiet whispers of wisdom that arise when the inner chatter subsides. As you continue to contemplate the empty teacup, a deeper understanding begins to dawn. Its value, its profound utility, arises not from what it contains, but from its inherent capacity to contain. This leads you to a gentle realization about your own life. The fullness of being, true abundance, arises not from outward accumulation or constant activity, but from a spacious presence, a mind and heart that are open and receptive. We often equate fullness with having more possessions, more achievements, more experiences. We strive to fill our lives, our calendars, our minds, fearing emptiness as a lack. The teacup, however, offers a different perspective. Its most profound fullness is its potential, its readiness, its inherent cupness, which exists whether it is physically full or empty. This suggests that our own truest fullness lies in our being, in our awareness, in the quality of our presence, rather than in the quantity of what we possess or do. Consider a life crammed with activity, with endless pursuits, but lacking in moments of quiet reflection or simple being. It might appear full from the outside, but it can feel surprisingly empty or unfulfilling within. Conversely, a life that embraces simplicity, that values stillness and presence, can feel deeply abundant, even if it is not filled with constant external stimuli. The teacup, in its serene emptiness, embodies this latter kind of fullness, a fullness of potential, of peace, of quiet integrity. The Zen teaching of enough is relevant here. In a world that constantly encourages us to want more, to strive for more, the concept of enough can be revolutionary. It's not about deprivation, but about recognizing the point at which striving for more begins to detract from our well-being rather than add to it. The empty teacup is perfectly enough as it is. It doesn't need to be larger, more ornate, or constantly filled to have value. Its simple being is its sufficiency. Finding that sense of enough in our own lives, enough possessions, enough activity, enough stimulation, can lead to a profound sense of contentment and inner peace. This fullness of being is characterized by a spaciousness within. It's the ability to hold life's experiences, both pleasant and challenging, without being overwhelmed by them. It's the capacity to be present with your own thoughts and emotions, without being swept away. This inner space is not a void, but a calm center, a sanctuary of awareness. Like the teacup that can hold any kind of tea without losing its own nature, a spacious mind can encounter any experience without losing its fundamental equanimity. The paradox here is that by cultivating a certain kind of emptiness, letting go of clutter, of attachments, of the need to be constantly full, we discover a deeper, more authentic fullness. This is the fullness of presence, of being truly alive and awake in each moment. It's not something that can be acquired or manufactured. It is uncovered by clearing away what obscures it. The sculptor doesn't add to the stone to create the statue. They chip away what is not the statue, revealing the form within. Similarly, we uncover our inherent fullness by letting go of what is not essential. Think of the vastness of the sky. It is mostly empty space, yet it holds the sun, the moon, the stars, the clouds. Its very emptiness is what allows it to contain such immensity. Our inner spaciousness is like that sky. When we cultivate it, we find we have a greater capacity for joy, for compassion, for wisdom, for peace. These qualities are not things we add to ourselves, but expressions of our true nature that emerge when we make space for them. The teacup, resting in its simple, unadorned state, radiates a quiet confidence in its own being. It doesn't need to be anything other than what it is to be complete. This is an invitation to find that same sense of completeness within yourself, a fullness that is independent of external circumstances. It's a shift from a doing mode to a being mode, from constantly seeking to fill a perceived lack, to resting in the inherent abundance of your own awareness. The true measure of a full life, then, may not be how much we have done or acquired, but how fully present we have been, how open our hearts have remained, how deeply we have touched the quiet spaciousness of our own being. The empty teacup, in its eloquent silence, suggests that this inner fullness is always available, waiting to be discovered not by adding more, but by becoming more aware of the profound sufficiency that already exists within the simple, open space of now. As your contemplation of the teacup deepens, moving through its form, its emptiness, its cycles of filling and release, you arrive at a place of profound stillness. This is the heart's quietude, a deep, unwavering peace found not in the absence of life's motion, but in accepting the dance of empty and full, of gain and loss, with an open and serene heart. The teacup, in its simple, steadfast presence, becomes a guide to this inner sanctuary. The quietude of the heart is not a fragile state, easily shattered by the world's demands. Rather, it is like the deep ocean, whose surface may be stirred by winds and waves, but whose depths remain profoundly still. The teacup, whether holding warm tea or resting empty, maintains its essential cupness, its quiet integrity. Similarly, your heart's quietude can become a constant, underlying presence, an anchor of peace that remains even amidst the changing circumstances of your life. This quietude arises from an understanding and acceptance of impermanence. The tea comes, the tea goes. Joy arises, sorrow arises. Moments of clarity dawn, moments of confusion pass. The heart that has found its quietude does not desperately cling to the pleasant or violently resist the unpleasant. It observes the natural unfolding with a sense of equanimity, much like the teacup simply witnesses its own filling and emptying without judgment. This is not detachment in the sense of indifference, but a profound engagement with life from a place of inner stability. Consider the Zen concept of the unmoved mover, or the still point of the turning world. This refers to that aspect of our consciousness, our deepest awareness, that is itself still and unchanging, even as it witnesses the constant flow of thoughts, emotions, and sensations. The teacup, resting on the table, is a physical manifestation of this still point. The world may swirl around it, your own thoughts may race, but the cup remains, a silent testament to the power of simple presence. Finding this still point within your own heart is the key to unwavering quietude. The journey with the teacup has shown you that emptiness and fullness are not opposites to be struggled with, but complementary aspects of a single reality. The heart's quietude embraces both. It finds peace not by trying to maintain a perpetual state of fullness, of happiness, of success, of stimulation, nor by fearing emptiness, of loss, of solitude, of not knowing. Instead, it recognizes the inherent beauty and necessity of both. The empty cup is full of potential. The full cup is rich with experience. Both are valuable, both are part of the cycle. This acceptance of the dance is deeply liberating. It frees you from the exhausting effort of trying to control life, of trying to make it conform to your desires and expectations. Instead, you learn to flow with it, to trust the process, to find the wisdom in each moment, whether it appears empty or full. This is the essence of Wu Wei, often translated as non-action or effortless action. Not doing nothing, but acting in harmony with the natural unfolding of things, without force or resistance. The paradox here is that true strength and resilience are found in this yielding, this acceptance. A heart that is rigid, that resists change, is easily broken. A heart that is open, that embraces the dance of empty and full, is flexible, adaptable, and ultimately more resilient. It can experience the full spectrum of life without losing its core serenity. The teacup, though made of fired clay, has a kind of flexibility in its function. It adapts to being empty, to being full, to being rinsed, always returning to its fundamental purpose. Imagine a silent monastery garden after a rain shower. The plants are glistening. The air is fresh. There is a profound sense of peace. This is the kind of quietude the heart can know. A freshness, a clarity, a deep sense of being at home in the world, regardless of external conditions. It is a peace that passeth all understanding, because it is not dependent on understanding everything, but on accepting everything. As you sit with the image of the teacup, let its simple presence instill in you a sense of this deep, unwavering quietude. Let your breath be soft and easy. Allow your heart to rest in the knowing that it too can be like this cup, a vessel of profound simplicity, capable of holding all of life's experiences with grace, and always returning to the deep, unshakable peace of its own true nature. The heart's quietude is not an escape from life, but a deeper, more peaceful way of living it. And so, your journey with the teacup draws to a gentle close, or rather, it merges into a deeper, more pervasive stillness. The cup rests before you, or perhaps now only in your mind's eye, a perfect embodiment of serene presence. It has shared its silent teachings of emptiness and receptivity, of the beauty and imperfection, of the graceful dance between fullness and release. Now it simply is, still and silent, inviting you to a similar, profoundly restful inner silence. This final resting in silence is not an absence but a profound presence. It is the culmination of the journey, where words and concepts dissolve, leaving only the direct experience of peace. The teacup, having been explored from every angle, now transcends its physical form and becomes a symbol of this inner state. Its silence is not empty in a desolate way. It is full of understanding, full of acceptance, full of the quiet hum of being. Think of a Zen master after a long discourse. The words have been spoken, the teachings shared, and now a profound silence descends. In this silence, the true understanding often dawns, sinking deeper than words ever could. The teacup, in its final quiet stillness, offers you this same space for integration, for the wisdom to settle into the very fabric of your awareness, without effort, without striving. The silence you are invited into is like the silence of a deep forest, where the sounds of wind and rustling leaves only serve to accentuate the profound underlying stillness. It is a living silence, vibrant with unspoken truth. Your own inner silence can be like this, not a forced suppression of thought, but an allowing of a deeper quiet to emerge from beneath the surface chatter of the mind. The teacup is your anchor, your focal point for this gentle descent into quietude. This resting in silence is an act of ultimate non-attachment. You let go of the journey itself, of the concepts explored, even of the image of the teacup. You simply rest in the awareness that has been cultivated. It is a return to the source, to the unconditioned mind, the beginner's mind, that the cup first invited you to explore. This mind is inherently peaceful, inherently silent, when the layers of conditioning and habit are gently allowed to fall away. Consider the paradox. The entire exploration of the teacup, with all its attendant thoughts and reflections, was ultimately a path back to this simple, wordless silence. The teachings are like a raft, useful for crossing the river, but to be left behind once the other shore is reached. The other shore, in this instance, is this very state of restful inner silence. a place where you are simply and completely present. This silence is profoundly healing. In the absence of mental agitation, the body can relax more deeply, the heart can soften, and the spirit can find its natural equilibrium. The teacup, so unassuming, has been a gentle guide on this path, showing that profound peace can be found in the simplest of things, in the most ordinary of moments, when approached with mindful attention. Imagine the teacup now simply dissolving into the quiet light, its form merging with the stillness around it. What remains is not an object, but an essence, the essence of peace, of receptivity, of quiet strength. This essence is now part of your own inner landscape. You have received the teacup's whispers, and now you embody its quiet wisdom. This final silence is not an end, but a seamless transition. It is the space from which new insights may arise, or from which deep, restorative sleep may effortlessly come. The teacup, in its ultimate lesson, teaches you to simply be with this silence, to trust it, to allow it to hold you. It's a homecoming to your own most natural state of being, peaceful, present, and profoundly still. Let the image of the teacup fade, and allow yourself to rest in the pure, silent awareness that remains. The teacup, now a faint impression, softens. Its edges blur, dissolving into the quiet air. The warmth, once held, now a gentle memory, fading. Each thought, a soft cloud, drifting slowly by, and dissolving. No need to hold, no need to follow. Just the breath, easy and slow, in and out. A gentle tide, washing away the day. The stillness deepens, like twilight gently falling. Images recede, sounds soften, becoming distant echoes. The feeling of presence, spacious and light. Like an empty sky, vast and serene. The mind, a calm lake reflecting only peace. No effort now, only allowing. Allowing the quiet to embrace you. Allowing the stillness to deepen, further. Each breath, a whisper of release. Letting go of thought, letting go of doing. Simply being, resting. In this soft, boundless quiet. The edges of awareness soften, merging with the peace. Drifting, floating, in a sea of serene silence. The journey complete, the destination found in this very moment. Empty, open, and at rest. Peace, deep, profound peace, dissolving into sleep.